Not too long ago, I found myself constantly overwhelmed and struggling to find the motivation to get up and go to college, go to the gym, and just go through the normal stuff in daily life. And it affected my productivity, my well-being, and my mental and physical well-being, and overall my quality of life. But through trial and error, I discovered some powerful techniques that made a real difference, and I'll be going through them with you today. Alright, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the importance of self-care. And by this I mean, having a good morning routine. Not just a morning routine, but a good evening routine as well. Just having a good daily plan. So, waking up at a certain time, going to bed at a certain time. If you need to go school, college, whatever, having certain times to do that, obviously, because they'll give you that. But if you don't, and you don't have a job, so you're just doing nothing, that's when the real issues happen, because you just do nothing all day. You do stuff at random times. And that's why I think the scheduled timetable in school is so effective, because you know exactly what you need to do and when you need to do it. I've got on my phone a list, a timetable of sorts, that tells me exactly what I should be doing right now. And currently I should be in college, but it's weekend, so it's not right. But I've got on there meditate an hour before bed, read books, write scripts, and not on there at all is, entertainment, watching TV, playing video games. Yeah, nothing like that. No time wasting activities. Let's talk about motivation next. I think it was David Goggins who said it, and he said that your mind is like a garage, just a big room, and motivation and discipline are really good and all, but if this garage is full, full to the brim, you've got this crap over here, it's all a mess, then what is that motivation and discipline going to do if you can't find it? You've got motivation, but it's underneath a pile of laziness and procrastination, or you finally decide to move that box of procrastination or the laziness, well, you're just going to move it back once the motivation runs out, It's a good analogy, but I don't believe it to be 100% accurate, because obviously discipline tops motivation every single time. The guy who's disciplined and goes to the gym, especially when he doesn't feel like it, is always going to beat the guy who goes to the gym whenever he feels motivated. I think that's a quote by Tate. So, yeah, there's two forms of motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic. Obviously, intrinsic comes from within you, inside, and extrinsic comes from outside. You watch a motivational video on your phone or something like that. And I think extrinsic motivation is BS. It's crap. Meanwhile, intrinsic motivation is, you see someone and you want to be like them. And so, you get angry at yourself that you're not like it, so you go and do the thing. You see a professional athlete and you think he makes so much money doing something he loves, and I'm sat here, fat and lazy, you're a wanker, and you just sit there and do nothing. And so you get angry at yourself and you decide to go and sort your life out. That's not the case for most. They just, sit there and wallow in self-pity. But, for the small amount of people that it does work for, it's extremely powerful. And it makes very driven people. Talk about identifying priorities. Prioritizing, important tasks in a busy world is a difficult thing. Like I said earlier, if you've got, you know, college or school or work, and you need to go to the gym for an hour and a half a day, you know, you've got to go to the shop, you know, you've got to make sure to meditate before bed, you know, you've got to be in bed by 11, you know, you've got to wake up by a certain time to be in work, and you've got to find time, you know, you've got to read, you've got to study, you've got to find time to do all of this in 24 hours, and a third of that is normally spent asleep, in a healthy sleep routine. But by identifying like making a list of your priorities and what you have to do in a day, and making like, you know, obviously work would be at the top because you don't have money, you don't have a house, you don't have shelter, you don't have shelter, you'll die. And yeah, you know, by making a list, you know, work, you know, studying, working out, you know, reading. By making a list of this, you can find out what the most important thing is to you and spend the most time on that thing. And then, you know, the things at the bottom, maybe, I don't know, go swimming for half an hour a day. Obviously that's important, but if you're already going to the gym as well, maybe that doesn't need to be there every single day. Let's talk about time management and goal setting. Effective time management and goal setting is essential. Set smart goals. That is cool. Sorry about that, camera's falling. Setting smart goals is something I've touched on briefly before, and I might make a separate video about. Alright, next step is setting boundaries and saying no. Setting boundaries is essential to like sustaining our time and energy. So if someone says, oh, can you work overtime, you know, an extra hour today, or can you help me out with my homework, or something you didn't plan on doing that wouldn't really benefit you in any way and that you don't want to do, but you know, in the Western world we kind of feel pressured to say yes to things and to help people. Like, it's good to help people, of course, but if it's someone you don't really like and they're asking you to do something for them that isn't going to benefit you in any way, and it's just actually going to make your day less efficient, which most of the time it does, then we need to learn to say no and to stop feeling pressured to say yes to everyone. Next step is accountability and support. Seeking support and like an accountability partner would mean like something I find useful is, if I don't feel like going to the gym, the first thing I do is I message my mates and say, you know, do you want to go to the gym at 2 today? So that I have to go now, because, you know, I've invited them to come to the gym with me. So it's called an accountability partner, basically. It's someone who's basically, you do something with them, and if basically to make sure that you go. It would be like joining a swimming class with one of your mates, so that you basically both make sure that each other, if you don't feel like it, you both go. And it's quite a powerful motivational tool, because you don't want to let your friend down and you don't want to let yourself down. So it's extremely, extremely powerful. And of course, support. You know, if you start to really lose motivation, you can speak to that person, and, you know, and hopefully they'll, you know, sit down and have a talk with you and get you a bit more motivated again, get you back into it. And the last, to wrap up, remember that prioritizing self-care in a busy world is an ongoing journey and something that can always be improved. Never think that you've done everything you can. There's never a 100% perfect day. You know, if you think your day's been 100% productive, there's 99.9% chance there's something, you know, there's 10 minutes you spent on your phone when you shouldn't have, you know. You watched YouTube as soon as you woke up. You thought, alright, let's sit down and do some work. And then you scrolled on Instagram for 10 minutes. You know, not every day is going to be perfect. And you just got to commit to finding motivation, achieving balance, and prioritizing the self-care. Have a good day and a great week.